Hey, ever had one of those moments? It's the middle of the night. There are no monsters to slay, no dungeons to raid. The game screen is black, with just one line of text blinking back at you. What's the point of this game? Where's the main quest? Why am I constantly regretting yesterday's choices, draining my own mana bar? How do I remove this overthinking debuff? It's grinding me down. Congratulations. You haven't disconnected, and this isn't a bug. Welcome to Life, the ultimate open world game. At some point in their journey, every player triggers this hidden cutscene called the Existential Crisis. It's the game's built-in final boss of a question. Who am I? Where did I come from? And where am I going? After receiving this quest, countless players feel lost and adrift, losing the motivation to level up. But remember this, your save file isn't corrupted. This is a shared core experience for all players. I'm your dedicated game guide, a veteran player who's spent years exploring this world. My mission is to help you analyze the game's core mechanics and break free from the endless loops of finding the ultimate meaning and making the perfect choice. It's time to play with more freedom, more immersion, and more joy. Before we start our own adventure, let's blow the dust off some classic strategy guides left behind by the original pro players and see how they understood the game. In the earliest versions of the game, whether on the Eastern or Western servers, players generally believed there was a pre-written destiny questline. On the Eastern servers, the goal for top-tier players, the scholar officials, was to establish a moral compass for the universe to secure the fate of the common people. Their game philosophy was that their characters were created to complete a grand narrative of bringing order to the world. As a low-level player, you cultivate your own character. After reaching max level, you serve all of humanity. On the Western servers, a legendary player named Plato believed that everything has a design function. Take a knife, for example. Its core function is to cut. That function, its essence, was defined long before the knife was ever forged, its existence. He theorized that we players are the same. Before we even log in, a game admin, a creator, has already determined our character's essence and purpose. These classic guides were like a user manual that came in the box, giving early players immense stability and a clear goal. But here's the problem. If the main quest is locked, where's the player's freedom? This question set the stage for the game's next major update. Later, a hardcore player named Nietzsche suddenly screamed into the global chat, "The game admin is dead!" That one message shredded every official strategy guide and Destiny questline that players had relied on. All the old, absolute rules of play became obsolete. When that one and only questline vanished, players were instantly lost. Nietzsche said the game, world itself is a void. Our existence has no pre-written script. Grinding for levels, hoarding gold. It all seemed to lose its ultimate meaning. He called this condition the nihilism debuff, a persistent damage over time effect that makes you feel confused, miserable, and convinced that nothing matters. This update pushed all players to the edge of a meaning vacuum. But don't despair. Just then, another legendary player, Sartre, logged on. He released a revolutionary mod that lit a new path for all the lost players. Facing the server-wide nihilism debuff, Sartre, a leading player from the Existentialism Guild, stepped up. He issued a command that would go down in history. Existence precedes essence. What does that mean? It's simple. A knife is created with the function of cutting, essence already in mind before it exists. But we players are different. We are first thrown into this game world existence, and only then, through every choice and every action, do we slowly craft our own character and define our own way of playing our essence. It's like playing Minecrafting. There's no mandatory storyline, which gives you the freedom to create anything you want. But Sartre said this freedom is actually a sweet burden. You are condemned to be free. You are constantly making choices. And even not choosing is a choice. And you'll never know what you missed out on by not taking the other path. Therefore, you want to be free, and you consequences of all your choices. Sartre once gave a classic example of a quest dilemma. A young player's main quest is to join the army and defend his country, but a side quest is to care for his lone, aging mother. What should he do? Sartre told him, don't overthink it. Just choose. The moment you choose defines who you are. Choose to care for your mother, and you are a devoted son. Choose to join the army, and you are a righteous patriot. The choice itself gives you meaning. Sartre's mod teaches us this. Stop waiting for an official quest that will never come. Every click, every exploration, is you writing your own, unique strategy guide. Is the philosophy section giving you a headache? No problem. Let's watch a gameplay recording from an average player, Cheems. It reveals a common trap. When you pin all your hopes on one ultimate achievement, reaching it can leave you feeling emptier than ever. Let's start telling his story. When Cheems was a noob, his dream was to travel to the northernmost region of the map to see the legendary Aurora Borealis. But the veteran players around him all gave him the same advice. Seeing the lights? What kind of goal is that? You should be grinding high-yield careers like doctor or CEO. So, Cheems put aside his original dream and followed the standard societal build. He buried his head in grinding levels, killing monsters and doing quests until he finally unlocked the CEO prestige class and stood at the top of the server. However, when he finally arrived at the North Pole and saw the aurora with his own eyes, all he felt was an infinite void. The ultimate goal that once made his heart race now felt completely tasteless. He was so despondent he even considered rage quitting and deleting his character. The experience of Cheems is a perfect illustration of the arrival fallacy trap. You think that getting the legendary sword will bring you eternal happiness, but the real fun might have been lost somewhere along the grind. Just as Cheems hit rock bottom, a philosopher seagull NPC flew over. It told Cheems that the world and the game are inherently meaningless, and that this is precisely our freedom. True meaning isn't found by chasing some grand objective, but by returning to the root of all things and doing something simply for the sake of doing it. The ultimate strategy the seagull offered was this. Go get some fries at the pier. Not for any reason, not for any meaning. You do it just to do it. The seagull encouraged Cheems to live in each moment, to dance through every painful and meaningless day, and to bravely fall in love with this cruel, beautiful game. That, it said, is the bravest and most worthwhile thing in the world. Alright, we've analyzed the classic guides and player case studies. Now, it's time to map out our own gameplay strategy. First, embrace the sandbox. Life is a giant open-world game. Sartre said it himself. This game world is absurd, with no pre-written script. But that is your privilege. Instead of stressing about the lack of a main quest, learn to actively embrace the chaos. Just accept the premise and then go. Try everything. Just like in a sandbox game, you can ignore the final boss and instead take up farming, build a house, or explore every corner of the map, creating your own fun. Second, turn on co-op mode. Relationships are the best health potions. Think a full set of epic gear and a mountain of gold will make you happy. A massive 80-year study from the Harvard server found that good, genuine player-to-player relationships bring far more fulfillment and happiness than wealth or status. They're even strongly linked to the hidden longevity stat. Grinding dungeons alone is less rewarding than sharing the victory with a few good teammates. By giving your genuine self and making friends or falling in love, You'll find that human connection is the most effective healing spell against the void. Third, find your fries. Get epic loot from small quests list. Besides co-op, another powerful weapon against the void is finding small quests that give you a sense of accomplishment and a flow state. It can be anything: learning a song, cooking a meal, going for a run. Just like the seagulls get some fries philosophy, do it for the sake of doing it and enjoy the process. I know what you're thinking. I get the logic, but I'm still stuck in my old gameplay loop. Don't worry, it's not entirely your fault. It's an issue with your game settings. Our brains have neuroplasticity. Those old habits of overthinking and regret are just skill hotkeys you've spammed so many times, they've become muscle memory. But the good news is your skill bar is editable. By deliberately and consistently practicing new behaviors, for example, when you feel like overthinking, you go get some fries, you can create new hotkeys. This will upgrade your brain's autopilot system, eventually overriding that painful old gameplay loop with a completely new one. Friend, now that you've reached the end of this guide, does the game of life seem a little less confusing? It has no standard answers, no single way to win. Meaning is not a treasure waiting to be found in a cave. It's the wondrous thing you build with your own hands after every choice, every exploration, and every interaction with NPCs and other players. The void isn't the end, it's the character creation screen. It gives you the highest privilege of all, to define your own world and to create your own adventure. So stop hesitating. Stop grinding yourself down. Bravely make your choices. Live your experiences. Love with all your heart and go live your fries life. Remember, you are the lead player of your own life. You have the guide. Now, what's your next move? Happy gaming.